change from day to day. So these are the top 10 as of last night in the middle of the night. Number 10, technology. He was an early adopter. I remember in the 80s he had a computer long before any of my classmates did, and we played on CDOS, we played Dog Race, which is math problems basically using BASIC. He had a modem that he used to reach Australia in the early 80s to get medical information. The password for his computer early on was, I kid you not, educate the idiot. He told me that I had to learn how to spell it. He misspelled educate. He was very proud of those math skills. He liked quizzing me on them. You never knew with him if the question was going to be a question to which he knew the answer or to which he was testing to see if I knew the answer. He loved math. He thought it underlied physics and chemistry. It was also useful when packing up the car, when emptying out my dorm room. That's technology and thinking. Number 9, learning. Depending on when you knew him, you knew a different passion that he had for learning. It could be prairie grass, Civil War, Japanese swords, rice bowls, you name it. But it wasn't just research on the topics, it was using his knowledge to help people, to sway juries, using "it is time the walrus said," or to comfort people. There were many times when I called after losses of friends when he knew what to say when I didn't know what to say. He said, "Tell your friends this." So if I ever said anything comforting after somebody passed, it's probably his words. Sorry, just the truth. He used his knowledge that he learned about medicine to help folks, both professionally as a medical malpractice attorney and as an informal ombudsman for anyone going through medical dilemmas. This was particularly rough when we had to use our knowledge and AI to figure out what was going on the past few months. And Jessica and I had a duel with AI versus knowledge, and apparently AI knew more than anybody else. So he would have been happy about that. Number 8, he loved music. Again, not in order. Music probably is one of the most enduring things. I've told people about how he would play the Star Spangled Banner. Oh, say, can you see, for the land of the free and the home of the brave. Or he'd play a song and end on da 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 da, and then walk away. He was a member of the choir here. The last time that he left the room for something other than the emergency room was singing with the Circulaires here. He liked taking us to music camps. He would make tapes for me in high school of the same song played by multiple pianists and then the same song played by multiple violinists, and he would test me which musician was playing it. He particularly loved certain songs. Liz can give you a list of many of them, but what comes to my mind is a Mendelssohn violin concerto. He collected instruments. He offered me recorders, mandolins, guitars, ukuleles, but he also made sure we all had lessons. And in the end, when words failed him, we sat by his side singing, and he didn't have the words, but he almost had the pitch and sang along with us. It was very powerful. Number 7, mischief. I remember chopping up big noodles in a Chinese food restaurant that was a little bit slow in, I believe it was Holland. I'm not sure if that's a place that gave us gifts to leave. Might have been. I remember water fights with him. A posh mother of a classmate of Liz answered the door when I was not wearing anything as a 6 or 7-year-old because I had just been doused with water inside, and I'm not sure that was very good for the neighbor to see. I don't know what they're called, just maybe you remember, what were Herbies? Giant seaweed things that were on the West Coast, and they had heads that looked kind of like this. And he would torment us with them, but those were Herbies, and it was part of his mischief. He would spin his rings at restaurants. He would make scary fingers going across the table. He would cheat at the the high Q peg game at Cracker Barrel. And yes, he liked the stuffed animal warthog and the Teletubbies. He would talk for them. Yeah. Fires. He loved fires, and we loved our times with him by the fire. My favorite, not Mom's favorite, was when he decided to burn eggs in the fireplace in Vermont. Hint, don't do this at home, but if you have somebody you don't like, do it at their place, and when it explodes, it makes the most beautiful color. colors in the world. He was colorblind, but he would give people the gift of the magic colors that you put in the fireplace when they burn. I don't know how he experienced it, but I liked that. He would spend a lot of time burning the cardboard in our living room at home. Sitting in the living room, he would teach Girl Scouts how to make the fires. He liked fire, and we miss being by the fireplace with him. Nature. Number 5, nature. If you knew him, you may have had a walk in the wood with him in his younger days. Those were precious. I particularly remember a walk in the wood in the British countryside that I had with him in England. I remember him telling me that I should back up because there was a moose approaching me in the Tetons. I think it was the Tetons. There was a moose. I was looking into the background. He was looking in the foreground. I remember him noticing the rattlesnake close to us, getting us into the car. He did some research in nature when he was a Boy Scout heading up to his Eagle Award. I remember afterwards, years and years and years and years of him going with me to the Tanglewood Preserve, I believe, in Long Island, walking around, and we noticed things. We noticed the sassafras growing and the smell of it. We watched ducks going around in circles. We looked for fossils along the Kansas River. I'm glad you mentioned that one. Number four, travel. We have certain family words that come from his enjoyment of what we experienced abroad. If he ever said to you, Glück auf, that meant good luck getting out, a phrase that we learned by the salt mine in Austria. I'm going to pronounce it wrong, I don't speak Dutch, but there was a sign that we enjoyed, Kadoeft is how we pronounce it, which was in front of the train lines in Holland. It meant smashed to smithereens. What would happen to you if you crossed that? I was not very kind to him about his Spanish. When we were in Mexico and he was saying, Yo quiero una hamburguesa, I did not enjoy that. I was very proud of him when he pretended, or actually did speak enough of little languages to get us through Europe many times. But the one language that apparently he did not speak very well in Europe was English, because we met a man by the side of the road once who was, Mom, was he drunk, or was he just, he was drunk and he didn't quite understand Dad's English enough to give us directions. And so they tried other languages to try to communicate with one another. We're not there anymore, so apparently we're not lost anymore. From going to all these cheese markets, to bed and breakfasts, to making places that became our homes, sort of a feeling of home in Leiden in Holland, our house in Vermont, our homes in Kansas, and also finding new places to explore. I remember in Kansas watching trains go by and seeing how long it would go, and watching the man in front of the train reading, not looking anywhere, because what was there to see in Kansas? And Dad said, there's always something to see if you look. Number 3, dogs. You know my dad, you know he loves dogs. One of his last repeated understandable utterance, along with calling out bar bar, bar bar, was repeated calls for Bomba, Bomba, the dog that died in 1978. Half of my family's videos include him running around with dogs, playing with them in bed, pulling toys with them. Y'all know Penny. His most frequent outing over the past 7 years was going to dog runs. He loves dogs. We're dog people because of him. Number 2, his kids and grandkids. Louis, Wesley, Greggy, Juliet. The photos of him with you are the ones with the biggest smiles. When each of you were little, he would pull me aside and say, they're so smart, they're so intuitive, they're so philosophical, they're so much fun, they have my sense of humor. He just loved you so much. And I know the same was true for Liz and Jess and me and Melinda as well. He loved making pancakes in the morning, if you liked pancakes. Blintzes, if you liked blintzes. Cucumber salad. What were those mushrooms with some kind of cool sauce on them? He loved the carousel rides. One of my favorite memories was his getting bubbles to tower up in big mountains of mixing his knowledge of chemistry. He loved dried ice. Recently, a delivery came to our house with dried ice, and Mom's like, oh, he would have loved doing that with the grandkids. He really loved parenting, and we're so lucky for that. Clearly, there's a number 1 there. A very clear thing that's number one. And you all can say who that is. Mom. Yep. One of my last conversations with him, and I believe he also had this conversation with one of my sisters, is what gift could he get her for the holidays? What would she really want? We didn't know that it would be for him eventually to be out of pain. We're struggling, but we're also relieved that he is no longer in pain. And that in putting together the photos, we could begin to pull back the man, the myth, the mystery, given what career he may or may not have had, that was Dennis Bengals. Mom, he loved you very much. You kept him sane, you kept us sane, and you enjoyed the moments of insanity that were inevitable and remain inevitable along the way. You balanced each other, you complemented each other, and I mean both versions of the word compliment, with the A and with the I. But you were very selfless with him. That I was a we, always, and continues. Even when his memory was fading, he called out for her. He wore her clothes, socks, jackets, shirts. I think it was to have her close to him, just because she was his guiding everything. She was his rock, his comfort, his home. He created a home for all of us with Mom. I'm very grateful. And I'm very grateful that we have friends here from all walks of the family's life. I do want to add one other bit. There's a sister who's not here right now, Melinda. He did a huge amount to raise a child who had a lot of differences medically, behaviorally, and he enjoyed that very much too. And when I look at this list, technology, learning, music, mischief, fires, nature, travel, dogs, kids, grandkids, and Mom, all of that helped him give her an amazing 23 years and a story that goes on beyond that time. He used his knowledge of technology for the medicine, his learning for helping us go ahead with her best care, the music for getting her dance lessons and piano and violin, the mischief because raising a child who's different requires mischief. Oh yeah, I know about that. The fires because we could be stormy and she was definitely the nature, understanding the nature of who each of us is. The travel, they went all over the world with her. Scandinavia, I didn't get there yet, but they did. The dogs, the kids, and a shared adventure with Mom. So, I'm very grateful to the past friends, the current friends, and the journeys that we've been on together. Hey Lori, you're up.